What's up, y'all? Today we're going to look at a few different creepy Reddit posts. If you like the video, like it, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell for more videos. Alright, I guess let's get into this. What's your creepiest real life story? When I was little, around 8, I hated going to the dentist. He always made me uncomfortable for some reason. I remember his smile stretched out too far and it seemed forced, like clowns. Anyway, my mom always came in with me and went back so I wouldn't be scared. One day my dad had me divorced parents and had to take me to the dentist, but tried to make me go in the back alone so he could sit out in the lobby doing whatever. The assistants literally had to drag me back to the room, and you could hear me screaming and crying down the hall, refusing to sit in the chair. Finally, my dad came back to get me, irritated I'd made a scene. He rescheduled my appointment to when my mom would have me, and we just left. He made a big deal about how bad I was acting and told my mom she spoiled me and all sorts of shit. 2 weeks later, it's on the news that my dentist was charged with child pornography after molesting children under anesthesia and photographing it. Dude, I don't even know what to say about that. That's so messed up. I was in Minute ND with my old band. Our tour van blew a head gasket and we were there for a few days. Everyone was tired on day 2, but I was wide awake. I walked for a bit and make it to some scummy bar. I'm obviously not from around here and nobody is saying a word for me. After 2 beers, I started to get a tad nauseous and dizzy. I put my head in my hand and tried to let it pass, but it keeps getting worse. Suddenly, a voice says, "You'll feel the pain tonight." I jumped and looked up, and a tall, roughly 40-year-old man is walking to the bathroom, turns back and glances at me. I called my friends and got me the fuck out of there. I slept for 12-13 hours and felt awful, loopy the next day. I was roofied. Hell nah, Bill Cosby up in here trying to get them booty cheeks. Nah, but for real, that's so gross. Hell no. When I was younger, my mom would take me to Kmart and let me wander around the toy section while she shopped. Normal in the 70s. One day I was playing with Simon Says, and an old man walked up to me and was making small talk while I played. He eventually told me to come with him and took me by the hand. He walked right down the main center aisle of the store, right towards the exit sign in the back. As we crossed the last row, I looked to my right and saw my mom at the end of the row. I told him I saw my mom and had to go. I pulled away my hand and ran down to her. I didn't tell her what happened because I didn't want to get in trouble for going with a stranger. It was several years later that I realized that I probably narrowly avoided being molested, kidnapped, or worse. Yeah, that dude sounds like he was definitely gonna take you to his candy van, and I don't think there is gonna be any candy in that van. Went camping with some friends on a hill a few kilometers out in the woods from one of the guys' house. There's a few hiking 4-wheeler trails in the area that lead up to the hill, and it's known by the locals. It was about midnight. We had a fire going. We were just sitting around having a good time. Then the guy, there was 4 of us, sitting opposite of me, yells, "Who are you?" I turn around and there's this man, about 6 feet tall, staring at us from the edge of the woods with a big rock in his hand. One guy knocked an arrow in a compound bow we had. The guy across from me grabbed a hatchet and pulled a knife off my belt. We had no clue what we were doing, but the guy wouldn't say anything to us. He eventually just backed into the woods. No sleep was had that night, and we kept a very large fire going. Bruh, that was Slender Man, just waiting for y'all to pass out, waiting for you to slip into that dream so he can catch you slipping. Hell no, that sounds creepy as hell. I would definitely pack up and leave immediately. We were partying at a usual party spot by the river. Some dude came out of the woods. He just kept saying weird shit like, You gotta watch yourself down here. There's some bad folks around here. And when asked who he was, he just said, I'm nobody. We were all a little sketched out and basically told this guy to fuck off. A couple days later, a girl went off a rope swing there and got really fucked up. Someone put fishing hooks all over the bottom of the rope swing and took chunks of flesh out of her leg. Later, we found out the dude was just a guy that lived nearby, and although a creepy drunk, he was harmless. There was a fuck up. Probably inbred family that lived up the road that he would warn people about. About 5 years later, last year, they beat some kid up with a log and kidnapped some girl at gunpoint and took her on a joyride. Hell no, that's some Hills Have Eyes shit, or some Wrong Turn. My grandfather owns several forests around the village he lives in, and he drives through them every week to check how the trees are doing and whether something needs to be fixed. He really loves his trees, and he has a sharp eye for any potential sickness or insect that could pose a threat. A decade or two ago, hitchhikers were very common. Even in thinly populated areas of Bavaria, he encountered them regularly and was always happy to help. He literally picked up every single hitchhiker he found. One day, however, he had a bad feeling about one. Without any reason, he dismissed the hitchhiker standing on the side of the path. Later that day, there was a radio broadcast about the previous convicted murderer who killed somebody in the woods and got caught trying to flee by hopping onto somebody's car. Just writing this down makes me shudder again. Yeah, I'm probably never gonna pick up a hitchhiker. I've seen way too many movies of motherfuckers getting murdered. And I am not trying to do that. So, hitchhiker, hope you find a ride if you're cool, but I ain't picking you up. When I was 12 or 13, we went to McDonald's on the way to the beach. I went to pee before I ate and to wash my hands. Just as I started peeing, this guy comes in. He walks to the urinal next to me and just watches. Doesn't pee, just watches. I can see him out the corner of my eye. His eyes locked on my junk, what there was of it. I had a bathing suit on, so I'm doing the whole junk flop over thing. Guys know what that means. So I can't hide it. I can't stop it. I can now though. Not sure why when you're a kid you can't stop your pee. He just smiled creepily as I finished, put things away and washed my hands. He just stood there smiling. I gave him one more look as I left the bathroom and never saw him again. I was with my friend's mom and didn't want to say anything because I didn't want to get in trouble and I really wanted to go to the beach. That logic makes no sense. I realize that now, but I ate my fish fillet sandwich with a what the fuck look on my face and had an awesome day at the beach. Hey man, do whatever you gotta do to go to the beach, I guess. You could have saved the world from one less pedophile, but you know, fish fillet sandwich in the beach. I guess that works too. I was driving on some country roads at 1 a.m. with my buddy one night in the summer. Come up to a one-lane, old, rickety bridge at the bottom of the valley. The bridge is also next to an old bar that now sits abandoned and is frequently vandalized, so it's already sketchy. Pull onto the bridge and the car is waiting on the other side. At first we thought nothing of it. If a car is on the bridge, you have to sit there and wait your turn to cross. But here's where it gets spooky. My friend and I get closer and closer to the car, but something is wrong. We see a white glove waving at us at about halfway to the other side. As we are almost across the bridge, we see that the person waving this white glove has an expressionless mask on. Needless to say, we freak the fuck out, as we have to slowly weave around the car and stare face to face with the person still waving. Drive off, scared shitless, but have to take the same road back. We get to the bottom of the hill, the car is still there, but there's no one inside. We kind of look around for a second before we get the fuck out of there. And we haven't been back since. Fuck expressionless mask, man.